A brutal heat wave is blasting half the country, including much of the South, Midwest, and the East Coast. Temperatures are soaring above 100 degrees in 15 states. Heat's been so bad, more than 30 people have died. Charlene Israel has the story.
With triple-digit temperatures in many places, the heat has turned deadly. In Jackson, Mississippi, this 61-year-old pastor died from heat exhaustion after working in his yard.
Usually in heat stroke, you quit sweating. Not in all cases, but most cases, you quit sweating and just get extremely hot because your body's not losing the ability to fight off the heat at that point.
Heat advisories are in effect for nearly half the country, including Alabama, Kansas, and Arkansas. In Denning, Arkansas, survivors of a tornado a few months ago are riding out the extreme heat in tents.
You feel weak, and you feel like you're going to black out, and you go to your knees, and you just hope that somebody pays attention and gets you to the emergency room.
The hot weather is adding to already serious drought conditions in parts of the country. In addition to the stifling heat in the Midwest, storm winds gusted up to 85 miles an hour, killing at least one person, injuring 6. In parts of Manhattan, the strain in the electrical grid knocked out power. The power company is urging customers to save energy. Many cities have opened cooling stations to help residents cool off.
Keeping hydrated and sunblock.
Meanwhile, those who work outside are trying to stay cool too.
This hat helps a lot too. Keeps the sun on top of your head.
Charlene Israel, CBN News.
If you're outside, make sure you're drinking plenty of water. That's the best way to guard against heat stroke. Wendy Griffith has the rest of our top stories from the CBN Newsroom. Wendy?
Thank you, Gordon. The polygamous family from the popular cable television show Sister Wives is challenging the law that makes their lifestyle illegal. A lawyer representing Cody Brown and his 4 wives will file a lawsuit against bigamy laws in the state of Utah today. The family recently moved from that state after police launched an investigation against them. The Browns' lawyer says the suit will challenge the state's right to prosecute people for their private relationships. The president and congressional leaders try again today to break the stalemate in the talks on the debt ceiling. But the Senate Republican leader has proposed a backup plan just in case. Senator Mitch McConnell's plan would raise the nation's credit limit without Republicans having to vote for it. It would basically give the president authority to raise the debt ceiling. The House and Senate could only stop him if they had veto-proof majorities. McConnell emphasized that his idea is just a last resort.
This is, again, not my first choice. I would advocate that we pass legislation giving the president the authority to request of us an increase in the debt ceiling that would take us past the end of his term.
McConnell's plan immediately ran into opposition from Tea Party conservatives. Well, the media is pressing Michelle Bachmann to comment on undercover video of a gay man allegedly seeking help from her husband's Christian counseling center. The question is whether or not Dr. Marcus Bachmann's clinic works to help gay people turn straight. The media says he claims the clinic doesn't practice reparative therapy. However, gay advocates say their video proves otherwise. Michelle Bachmann has not commented on the allegations. Many media reports on the Bachmann Clinic are agreeing with the homosexual activists who suggest that it's impossible to change a person's sexual orientation. The reports also suggest that the American Psychological Association has denounced any therapeutic efforts to help those who want to change. As Heather Sells reports, neither statement is true.
If you've watched the mainstream media's reporting in the last day or so, you've seen these tapes, which suggest that changing sexual orientation is not possible. In fact, at least one major study shows change is possible. Psychologist Mark Yarhouse explored the question in a 6-year work that he presented at the American Psychological Association's annual conference.
I think our study raises that question again. It says, well, wait a minute, here's a change effort sustained over time, and there's a pretty significant percentage of people for whom this was helpful.
Yarhouse and co-author Stan Jones followed 63 people who tried to change with the help of Christian ministries. 30% were able to reduce their homosexual attraction enough to be celibate without distress. and another 23% were able to convert to opposite-sex attraction. Total that changed, 53%, although Yarhouse admits it's tough.
And our study shouldn't be taken to mean that anybody can change or that everybody can change. It does look like it's difficult.
Some mainstream media are reporting that the American Psychological Association, or APA, has rejected so-called conversion therapy. But that's just not true. The APA has not banned it or even deemed it unethical. However, its latest statement does raise concerns. A 2009 task force report says efforts to change sexual orientation are unlikely to be successful and involve some risk of harm. Still, the APA notes that for some, sexual orientation identity is fluid, perhaps an open door for more research on this controversial subject. Heather Sell, CBN News.
And David Brody has more on the media's coverage of this issue. You can find that on the Brody File. That's at cbnnews.com. In the southern Philippines, more than 65,000 families are suffering because of floods and landslides triggered by torrential rains last month. Villages in the mostly Muslim region are still submerged in water, displacing thousands of families. As Gary Lane reports, Operation Blessing is on the scene, providing relief and medical care.
It's been 3 weeks since torrential rains flooded the mostly Muslim region of southern Philippines. Many villages are still submerged in water. The residents have no choice but to endure cramped evacuation centers and exposure to changing weather.
It is very hot here during the day, but at night it is cold and windy. Most of the evacuees, especially the children, get sick with cold, cough, and fever. The residents here are very poor. Our blankets are too worn out to keep us warm.
In order to help them, Operation Blessing held medical missions, especially in the remote areas that have barely received any relief. Areas like this one are neglected because of the presence of Muslim rebel groups. But Operation Blessing volunteer Dr. Ivana Stose went from tent to tent, giving health checkups and treating the sick. Most children have diarrhea, while the older women suffer from hypertension. Sammy Ulong and his family learned that their 3-year-old daughter was suffering from bronchitis.
Thank you so much for your help. This is our first time to be checked by a doctor. We don't go to the doctor because we don't have money to pay them and buy medicines. But you gave everything for free.
That included toys for the children, many of whom have never owned a real toy. Operation Blessing also distributed food, blankets, and copies of the Book of John to flood victims. The team also set up a water station to provide clean water in the evacuation centers. While evacuees wait for the floodwater to subside, Operation Blessing works to ease suffering and spread God's love in these Muslim communities.
I'm overwhelmed to know that for most of them, I'm the first doctor they saw. I hope they really felt God's love and that they experienced through us that Christ's love is real.
Gary Lane, CBN News.
And I was just reading last night, Gordon, this has been a record-setting year for natural disasters, and we just thank God for groups like Operation Blessing that are providing some relief and hope to people who need it.
Well, our motto is when disasters strike, we want to strike back, and we want to strike back with love and care. If you want to be a part of that, we're reaching out to help people in the Philippines. That flooding is 3 weeks old, but the devastation is still there. The people in Joplin, Missouri, the people in Alabama, Japan. We're still working in Haiti to help with the earthquake relief there. If you want to help and be a part of it, all you have to do is give to the Operation Blessing Disaster Relief Fund. You can write to that address on the screen, CBN Center, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23463. Or you can call us, 1-800-759-0700, or log on to cbn.com.
Texas Representative and presidential candidate Ron Paul says he'll retire from Congress when his term runs out next year. The 75-year-old Republican says he wants to concentrate on his run for the White House. Well, for only the second time since the Vietnam War, a living soldier has been awarded the Medal of Honor. Sergeant First Class Leroy Petrie received the medal for his bravery under enemy fire in Afghanistan. Sergeant Petrie threw a live grenade away, saving the lives of 2 of his fellow Army Rangers. His right arm was destroyed in that blast. Sergeant Petrie has served 8 deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan and is still in the Army. He now assists wounded warriors. Congratulations to him. Well, you can always get the latest from CBN News by going to our website at cbnnews.com.